How do we add another show? Is that at 2 p.m.?
No, we'd go back in July.
Oh.
Do a Thursday. So before we go to
I'm saying no to a Thursday.
before we go to
that July weekend.
So
I know what
Friday
you're
is
talking
Red Bank, New Jersey. Saturday is Northampton, and Sunday is Concord. We would just add Thursday. Thursday would be Toronto. And he said it would be good because it wouldn't interfere with when we go back to Toronto. You know what I mean? Like I said.
Okay.
Anyway, so Kurt, back to this. So
yeah.
So they're saying if you say Free Palestine, that is that's like saying that's inciting people.
Christ is king.
That's inciting people to do. But here's a congressman who takes a lot of money from AIPAC. He's saying we should nuke Gaza.
Oh, well, that's smart. It's very close to precious Israel.
Yeah, so
that's smart. Smart thinking.
So watch what he says.
The fact of the matter is the Palestinian cause is an evil one.
Yeah.
So the Palestinian cause isn't the one, where
live in a concentration camp, that one?
Yeah, the one where they don't want to live in a concentration camp anymore. That
the 67 borders that Israel could have done but doesn't want to do. They'd rather kill every last one of them instead of that?
Yeah, like they'd want to have their own state, that kind of thing. Be autonomous, self-governing, that kind of thing.
Is it as evil as putting an Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria? Is it like that level?
Is that level of evil, putting Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria?
A ceasefire deal on the table right now that the White House is hoping both Israel and Hamas will sign on to. Does this shooting change anything when it comes to the course of the war or the negotiations to end it?
Well, I think it speaks to the importance of the only end of the conflict is complete and total surrender by those who support Muslim terror. In World War II, we did not negotiate a surrender with the Nazis. We did not negotiate a surrender with the Japanese. We nuked the Japanese twice in order to get unconditional surrender. That needs to be the same here. There is something deeply, deeply wrong with this culture, and it needs to be defeated.
We heard in Brooks.
Oh, what's that? What's that, Kurt? Say it again.
Islam itself has to be defeated.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Not
their
just
culture.
Hamas.
They're not Hamas. It's their whole culture.
Well, thank God we come from a superior Western culture where there's not problems like those people have.
So, that, and of course, that guy takes a ton. Recipient of AIPAC's fastest ever endorsement wants to nuke Gaza.
No, he just said we did that before, and it should be on the table, is how I took it.
By the way, so someone, to make no mistake, if you screamed "Free Palestine," you helped pull the trigger. But if you, by the way, that's a Miss Israel. That's Miss Universe Israel 2021 said that.
Wow. So they do have Jews that aren't smart.
So you have to say. So if you can't say "Free Pal," so it's so having
you literally did not do that.
So you can't have.
By the way,
you can't have a free Palestine. So Brianna Joy Gray says, "Okay, make no mistake. If you're a Zionist, you help murder 200,000 Palestinians."
I mean, it's not even a close score if you're going to be that much of a psychopath to keep score. I've never said free Palestine ever in my life because I'm afraid it encourages Israel to take more Palestine. So I don't believe you should say that.
So here's Dana Bash, and here's what she says. So again, advocating for so they have to equate Zionism with Jews, which they're not the same thing. Lots of Jews are against Zionism. In fact, the most hardcore religious Jews there are against Zionism. But they have to conflate that, and they also have to conflate free Palestine with anti-Semitism.
America first, Christ is king. You have to conflate those things. Whatever doesn't, the Judeo-Christian values, you know that nonsense term?
Yeah.
Abrahamic values is what they mean. They want to exclude Muslims from that.
Everything could be. So let's listen to Dana Bash.
You just heard the alleged killer
saying free Palestine. We hear that on the streets, we hear that on college campuses, and there are a lot of people who have been worried that that has been turned into a call to arms and a call to action and violence.
Yes.
We're going to need more censorship, aren't we?
We're going to need more censorship. You can't advocate for freedom. I love this. Everything to them could be misconstrued to be violence against Jews.
Woke right. That's what the woke right does. That's the woke right.
I'll take a bagel with no locks, please. No locks. Oy vey.
I wish I knew what a new to show meant.
Me too.
That's pretty funny.
That sounds funny. So you can't say free Palestine. You can't say free Palestine now because this has got to be the craziest thing. So this is the most Zionist, unhinged Zionism that CNN has done so far. I think that's it. So,
they're all doing 9/11. They're another false flag, by the way. I don't believe any of them.
Right.
They're doing another 9/11, and so now it's time. The time is not to reason through this. The time is to be irrational. Like that black kid that stabbed the white kid, that they run that endlessly. It's time to take a racial stand and lose all rationality.
Yeah.
How long can you do this same trick on people? I'm dumb. I fell for 9/11. 20 years later, I can't fall for the same thing again. I apologize to Dana Bash.
Others claim that it's not. What do you think now that we have seen this?
I think there's no question, whatever its initial intent, or whatever people were saying initially or meant it has become a call for violence, and not violence against Israelis, which is wrong, but violence against Jews. And anybody who tries to separate
anybody who tries to separate
the two and try to say, I'm just against Palestine, I'm just, against Israel's policies in Palestine or in Gaza, and I'm not anti-Semitic. This was anti-Semitism pure and simple. That he happened to have killed 2 Israeli staff members didn't matter. It was a Jewish event. They were targets.
This, as you know better than most, hardly happened in a vacuum. Things are happening so often that sometimes we become numb to it.
You mean like the slaughter of children in Gaza? You mean like that? Isn't it amazing? That's amazing.
Sometimes I've been numb to it my whole life. We've been in a war killing millions of people as long as I've been alive.
How about
numb to it sometimes?
And so, by the way, so a lot of Jews say free Palestine. So are they calling for violence against themselves? I don't think so.
Send them to El Salvador, Jimmy, I say. You know what I say.
Yeah.
It normalized. Exactly. So let's not participate in that, and let's just give some of the examples in just the past few months. We saw a man arrested for allegedly planning a mass shooting at a New York Jewish center. Tel Aviv restaurant stabbing. The perpetrator arrived from the U.S. Then this is just, again, the past several months. A man arrested for making terrorist threats to a Manhattan synagogue, the Berlin Holocaust Memorial. There was a stabbing there. And then, of course, an arson attack at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's.
Wait, what do you
have every day?
What?
That's not even close to the crime regular Americans have every day. Not Israeli dignitaries. Everybody that lives here, the crime. I moved out of LA because of crime rate like that. How would you even rank that?
It's unbelievable, and it's unbelievable that she's doing this against the backdrop of tens of thousands. I mean, they killed 900 people since this morning today in Gaza.
250,000. Isn't it 250,000 at least?
It's up there. Some estimates are that they've killed 250,000 Palestinians, but definitely for sure 50,000, and definitely they killed 900 since this morning till today, till I'm doing this show. They have to go to the look. It's like the equivalent of a hangnail. They're screaming about in the middle of a war zone. This is
Jimmy. Can you imagine?
So if they lose, just like you said, Kurt, if they lose anti-Semitism, this thing that is mostly made up and fake, if they can't throw that around all over the place, then it's just over. Israel's over.
It's their fuel source.
Yes.
Zionism needs anti-Semitism. Just like BLM needed, when they couldn't find racism, they had to find like a rope someone tied in a garage and say it's a noose.
Yeah, remember
that?
It's
the fuel for their nonsense. This falls, by the way, this is lame. I lived through 9/11. I was there. I already been through the trauma of like, oh my God, terror. This ain't cutting it, toots. Sorry.
Let's see what else they say. This is so stupid.
Your whole life has been dedicated to education. But education seems to not even be close to enough.
Education, you can be a PhD and an SOB at the same time. You can be well-educated. Look, the first people to support Hitler in Nazi Germany were amongst the first were the university professors. They got on board right away. So education, of course, I believe in education. I wouldn't be doing education and working in that and trying to educate people if I didn't believe it. But it's not a magic bullet. We also have to inculcate, whether you're educated, whether you have years of postgraduate education or none at all, this is wrong. There is no but when it comes to killing people because of their ethnic, religious heritage.
It's like they're saying it into a mirror. It's like they're describing themselves. Did I just show you the guy who said we have to slaughter all the Palestinians because it's their culture? We have to get rid of guys. We got to
knock yourselves out. Here's what I'm going to say. Not Free Palestine. Don't use my fucking money to do your crimes. How about that? You pay. Get your billionaires that live here that don't live in Israel because it's not safe. Get them to pay.
I mean, this is at one level. It's truly remarkable. It's the lack of self-awareness to the extreme that I've never seen. It's like they're describing everything Israel's doing and pretending that's what the people opposed to Zionism are doing. It's just amazing. They're literally
the CNN demographic.
According to every human rights organization, the International Criminal Court, the UN, they're committing a genocide and they're an apartheid state.
Did you see what I texted you?
What?
Just now?
No.
Because one of the first people to collaborate with Hitler were the university. No, they weren't. They were the first people he killed. But the first people to collaborate with Hitler were the Zionists. There's a coin minted with a Star of David on one side and a Swazi on the other side. So the first early adopters to suck up to Hitler were Zionists. That's a fact.
Let's see what else. This is really, I'm playing this because this is just, I haven't ever seen anything like this.
Well, it's only for like 3 viewers, Jimmy. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There is no but when it comes to raping women in Gaza.
Yeah, there is no but. It didn't happen.
She even did her Freudian slip. There is no but when it comes to raping women in Gaza. Oh, you mean like we have the video of the Israelis raping the people in the prison? We have it.
And protesting in favor of letting them,
and then
man on man. By the way, it's not like
so. Then when they arrested those people the Israelis who did the raping that we have on video, then the Israelis then went and protested to let the rapers out.
Well, Chabad Lubavitch and those scumbags from Likud and all those psychos that prop Bibi up the way Trump's propped up by the Adelson widow. Bibi has even worse people propping him up, and he's going to jail unless he does everything they want.
That's exactly why he's doing all this.
In the area next to Gaza on October 7th, there is no but about kidnapping children because they happen to be Jews.
What about when you kidnap children because they happen to be Palestinian and you keep them and you starve them and you keep them in prison? There are thousands of Palestinian children have been kidnapped and put in prison in Israel. It's just amazing.
You shouldn't have ran your yaps about Putin so much.
Yeah.
Because it formed quite a contrast with Putin's a pussycat compared to these people, ain't he?
He is. This is like double standards on steroids and meth and heroin. I mean, it is like astronomical. The crazy double standards they have.
I only know she's lying scum. I want to reiterate because Jews told me. I'm a good person who's prejudiced against Muslims, as you should be. I would never listen to an Arab about what the Israelis did. Jews ratted you out, bitch. So that's why I know you're a liar. I listen to Jews.
There is no but. This is unacceptable. Irrespective of how you feel about Israeli policies, irrespective of how you feel about the Israeli government, this is wrong, and there should be a universal outcry.
Okay.
There is on CNN right now. And me, I'm sure that chick was working outreach to Gaza, and that's why the scum pig IDF or whatever group, unit, whatever, picked her as the same way they used the Holocaust shamelessly. It's called Holocaust. That means sacrifice by fire. People like her sacrifice their own people by fire to get their little power trip. That's a human sacrifice that these scumbag Zionists did to Jews.
Even Grok thinks that was staged, by the way. The video captured inside the D.C. Jewish Museum shows a man being escorted by security personnel in a manner that appears unusually calm and staged, leading to speculation of a false flag operation where an event is orchestrated to appear as if carried out by a different party to justify certain actions or policies. The man's deliberate placement of a kafifa, a symbol of Palestinian nationalism, on the floor before being escorted away, along with the calm demeanor of the lack of struggle, suggests a pre-planned scenario rather than a spontaneous reaction to a double homicide, as typically expected in such high-stress situations. This event coincides with recent political tensions and the broader context of anti-Semitism and radicalism as highlighted by the U.S. president's response to the killings, indicating a complex interplay of domestic and international narratives that may influence the public's perception. So that's...
Elon's got to go back to Auschwitz with Shapiro for that.
So when you see this... This is one of the nicest... Look how nice they are. It is uncannily civil, the way they're dealing with that guy who just murdered 2 people.
Yeah, Jimmy, remember this is a while ago. I can't remember what the fake terror attack was, but 2 Indian guys drove a truck into some government building and they laid out a swastika flag first on the ground.
Oh, remember that? Yeah.
Yes, which, I mean, I was like, maybe because they're Indian, that's their symbol. I don't know.
Remember that? Yeah.
But this is like, how will anybody fall for that? To fall for this? This is so lame of a thing. And it's really sad they would murder 2 people to keep the thing going. But if you have a criminal history of faking terror attacks, which we can safely say Israel does, why would I ever believe you that you didn't fake it this time? Why would I ever believe you ever again?
So that part that I just played and the Grok part, put that onto the first segment we did at the top of the show, okay? Okay.
So are you saying these are 2 segments? The first one you did before Carol.
So the first one I did before Carol is one segment. And then this one.
Look at this doughy animal right
here. This one's more about the Free Palestine and CNN and this guy calling for the nuking of Gaza. And then, so put the Grok part, put that on the first segment, okay?
Not even Sam Harris would suggest such a thing. Because he knows you can't nuke right in your own goddamn neighborhood.
Do you feel good about going to Rumble at this time?
Yeah, let's go to Rumble.
Okay, let me get this all set up. Okay, I got that there. Don't tell us what you're doing. It's not perfect like MSNBC. I'm telling you like how we're doing it. Pinned it. I pinned it, ladies and gentlemen. Making it go there, and I got to refresh something else just in case. Just in case. Hold on, refreshing. This is the magic. You're seeing the magic, ladies and gentlemen. One more refresh. And my team got the notes, right? Take those notes. All right, those 2 segments. All right. We are set, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you over at Rumble. We'll be right back.